Night Commission meeting for Wednesday, November 10th to order. You to rise and join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there anybody signed up to speak?
No.
Anybody on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Hearing none, we will move to number 2, the consent agenda. What's the pleasure? Motion to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 3, payroll change notices. We have A through J.
Motion approved A through J, please.
Motion's been made to approve payroll change notices number 3, A through J. Any discussion?
Yeah, I know we approved these, but Jacob works for the maintenance department or parks department?
No, he was out of parks. There's only one on here for summer help that was left in the maintenance department. The rest were all season help for the parks department.
Okay. And his father works there?
He does.
Okay, I'd just like to note that we have a relative working for a relative, and we seem to have issues with that in the past. In the future, I do not make that mistake.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 4, minutes and or amended minutes of previous meeting. A through C. Any discussion?
Motion
What's
approved A through C.
A motion's been made to approve minutes A through C. Now, is there any discussion?
I think right now we're gonna see the minutes from the meeting from back in June or July. Ones that have been sitting out there forever. Never been redone and put back in front of us.
Do you have a date?
I think Laura knows the ones I'm talking about.
The one from May? Or the one that
Whatever it
was,
was, we had minutes floating around here that we haven't approved, and I go through the minutes, so there's a big hole there.
I'll follow up on that and make sure they get approved.
I'm gonna check from your end too and see what you see. Anything else on number 4, A through C? Okay, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 5, requisitions, purchase orders, invoices, A and B. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved A and B.
Okay, the motion's been made to approve number 5, A and B. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Exoneration, corrective tickets, joint property applications. It appears that we have A as exonerations and B on Exhibit B as corrective tickets. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved A and B.
Motion to approve number 6, A and B. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, we have a 10:05 public nuisance, Rebecca Elder. Have anything you'd like to lead us into shortly with it?
Rebecca Older, or Patricia. Sorry. Rebecca Older has a home, a very old home on Roane Avenue, and she was asked to demolish it. And she is doing that. It's taken a little bit of time, and that's okay. We're working with her, but she is doing a very good job.
See, these were a whole 5 loads out there and only got
Yeah.
one more load to get out.
Yeah, I'll do this for you.
Hey, Rebecca, when do you think you'll be done?
Well, we got one more load to do.
Listen, that's great. Thank you. We can't thank you
Well,
enough.
we all got sick and stuff, and that's what held us up.
Listen, you're doing exactly what we want, and we can't thank you enough, and we really do appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I'm trying to do my best to get everything done.
And if we can ever help you on our end, please let us know.
Okay, I will.
God bless you.
Appreciate what you've done. What do you want to do? Charlotte showed this picture, showed, I saw. the
Let's
picture.
go ahead and extend it out 30 more days, and then you said a week, we'll give you 30, and we're good to go.
Okay, so
Motion, motion to
I
extend 30
can
more
take
days.
pictures afterwards.
I got one question.
Mhm.
On the phone. Can I put him in the basement as I'm waiting on dirt
Absolutely, because it's filled. Yes,
to
sir.
fill? And I need to leave part of the block. It's up here, the road, because if I take that block
That road
out, that's
down.
what's holding the road actually up there.
We
That's
pre-
why that garage kept falling. My dad had it fixed 3 or 4 times, and that dirt just come again, that block wall and just pushed it out.
How about we just call it even in between now and December 10th?
Okay.
Motion approved till December 10th.
Okay, motion to extend until December 10th. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Number 7, consideration of approval of a project fund requisition. Thank you, Trey. I'm sorry. For the payment of costs associated with Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District Series 2015 A and B. White Oaks, number 2, Series 2008, Charles Point, project number 2, Northland Bay Improvement is A through F.
Madam President, at this time, we are only looking to approve C through F. We have currently taken A and B off the list.
Motion to approve C for $955.83, D for $4,431.25, E $143.75, and F $37.50, please.
Motion's been made to approve C through F of the amounts stated. Any discussion?
One of the others.
Received an email actually from Mr. Aaron this morning saying that there had been money, I guess, refunded. Yes.
Okay, so finishing up with the Charles Point Crossing project on the 2019 bonds, there was a substantial amount that was deposited initially with Dominion to complete some gas line relocations and gas well relocations. So that was all deposited up front. Then they do the work. That work is 95 or more % complete. Dominion has gone through and determined the remaining cost to complete it. The funds on deposit are in excess of that. So they refunded $1.7 million back to the trustee, which now leaves enough on deposit to pay the original project fund requisition that the county approved. And so that prior project fund requisition can now be processed and paid, which means that these two which were then split up between project fund and contingency fund, are moved basically at this point. Because the amounts represented in these two requisitions are included in a prior requisition already approved by the commission.
So I take it you'll get this in writing to us so that we know that this has been corrected. and that
Yeah.
we do not
Genesis is working on that.
owe these bills.
Yeah,
Jamie,
I just want to say it's a good thing. It's just a timing issue with Dominion. So they deposit almost $2 million back into the account.
anything further? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 8, consideration of approval project fund requisition for the payment of costs associated with the general services. Are there, oh, we do have one. General services building project to be financed from Series 2020 bonds issued by the Harrison County Building Commission.
Motion approved. A, $971,332.33 to Right Contracting Incorporated.
A motion's been made to approve number 8A for the amount stated. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 9, review, discuss, consider approval, execution, and delivery by the president of the county commission engagement agreements with Unicat. I'm going to pronounce it wrong.
Stiefel,
Okay, Stiefel Nicholas.
Nicholas and Company.
Okay. And Steptoe and Johnson for professional services to be provided by these firms to the county commission in connection with efforts to refinance, restructure the county commission's outstanding Series 2008 property tax bonds and Series 2019 excise tax bonds. Have A, B, and C under 9. What's the pleasure?
I have questions. Arms, please give me the cover letter for this. If I see it's not on the agenda.
Okay, you have questions of Mr. Anna?
Audra and I did some emailing back and forth. You sent a cover letter saying, please find the attached engagement letters for services relating to Harrison County Commission's efforts to restructure the Series 2008 property TIF bonds in 2019. You please expand on Harrison County's efforts to restructure when we decided that we wanted to restructure those bonds as the Harrison County Commission.
Yeah, so this goes back to 2013 or 14, where, so basically, at that point in time, the bondholders were willing to make concessions on principal payments and defer some interest, and also CED assessments, use reserve funds to cover some amounts paid, and redo the payment amortization on those bonds. So basically, this is a continuation of efforts that go back basically from 2014 to restructure those 2008 bonds.
I can find where the commission said that we needed to restructure those bonds back in that date period.
And yes, and it was basically, there was what I would call sort of preliminary work that was done at that time to effectuate a restructuring. This would be sort of ongoing efforts to continue to facilitate what was started in 2014. I say 2014, it may have been 2013 or 14.
I also have a letter from you saying that your firm represents the county commission as an entity rather than individual commissioners. And I do not have the authority to provide documents or information related to our representation of the commission absent specific direction from the county commission authorizing to do so. If we specifically authorize you to do this,
I'm presenting this as bond counsel for the county commission on the Charles Point project going back to 2007, 2008 at least. And the original bonds, and then in sales tax bonds that were issued, I think in 15, and then sales tax bonds issued in 19, efforts to restructure the property TIF bonds in 14 that have been ongoing since that time. In regard to all those prior engagements and that those bonds are still outstanding, I'm presenting this as the county's bond counsel as an opportunity to try to continue those efforts.
so today we're going to discuss this and why you brought this to our attention, and you're going to explain to us why we're considering this.
If you'd like to, if the commission would
I'm
like
just
to.
trying to understand how we got to this point. Commission didn't request this to be looked into. You politely told me that sure, the commission have to work within the confines of a response to a request. Commission office and the resources available provided from information requested by individual commissioners. You don't do, and I don't know when this commission told you to go about doing this or discuss this.
I'm presenting this as my previous work as bond counsel to the county as an opportunity. You can either decide to do it or not to do it.
To decide what?
To engage these professionals to look into opportunities to restructure the outstanding bonds.
For what reason would we restructure these outstanding bonds?
Well, because there are the property tax bonds are subject to ongoing forbearance arrangements with respect to payment of CED assessments that go back several years, I believe, to 2017. And those assessments have continued to accumulate with the idea of allowing the developer Genesis Partners to continue its efforts to develop the property, thereby increasing the tax base and decreasing the reliance on the assessments. And that's been an ongoing thing since really going back to 15, and then more formally with additional forbearance agreements starting in 17. And with the idea and discussion with the bondholders through this whole period of time, that eventually there would be a comprehensive restructuring of those property tax bonds. And it's been their request that that be consummated prior to the termination of the existing forbearance arrangement. So that's why it's becoming important to really get that resolved.
Bond people made a request. Is that what you're saying? To agree to do these bonds,
Yes, they have.
and
They've made a request
Audra,
to,
you got any requests from the bonding company?
they work through the professional team that's been dealing with these bonds since 2008.
But we had a meeting to discuss these requests.
There have been meetings over time not within the last year, but going back to meetings in 17, 18, 19, several of which you were involved in.
That was on the latest deal.
That was part of the overall picture. The 19 sales tax bonds were a part of the overall restructuring effort.
And that's being the past year restructured again too, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And what's wrong with that tip? Why does it need looked at?
Due to COVID, Menard suspended its construction efforts on its projects, all of its projects that were ongoing. And so that had not already commenced construction at the time of the start of the pandemic. And therefore, they haven't started or completed their facility and the timeframes contemplated by the bonds, which is going to necessitate us to restructure those bonds. Unless the commission just wants to let them default.
So, and then you want to restructure the original bonds. How many years are left on those?
To 2035,
15 years.
yes.
And what's the outstanding balance on those?
Those bonds were, I believe, are outstanding in the approximate amount of 28,690,000 on the 2008 B bonds. The 2008 A bonds are probably south of $4 million at this point. I don't have the exact number with me.
Sales tax good.
About 48, 49 million.
We're talking about refinancing $8 million worth of bonds.
Yes.
And that's more money.
That I don't know, but it's a possibility.
I think it's something that the three of us ought to know pretty quick before we agree to 80 million and getting into more money. We've already got issues with 80 million.
I agree, and provisions are being made to determine whether additional funds would be requested or not, but that decision hasn't been made as we sit here today. Of course, it's ultimately the county commission's decision.
So what will the county have to work off to make that decision?
The work product that's going to be put together by these professionals that you're being asked to engage today.
And let's talk about one of those community caps.
Okay.
How well did they do the numbers on the first tip, 2008 issue?
That's difficult to say. You know, by nature, projections are,
On this, we hired them in 2008 to do that. form.
yes,
So somewhere along the line, their projections failed. And we did hit the numbers to make the payments.
correct.
We hired them again for the 2019. I won't blame COVID on them, but I'm trying to understand why this commission would want to hire a third time.
To my knowledge,
Is there any other companies out there that could make the offer for this commission to evaluate other than somebody that's basically started out twice?
I don't know that either of that can be blamed on Unicap. Basically, when we issued the bonds in 2000, when the county commission issued the bonds in 2008, you had a financial crisis that happened immediately after that set the entire economy back probably 7 years in the real estate development market. So Unicap really can't be held accountable for that or COVID. In my experience working with special taxing districts for 15 plus years, 18 plus years, Unicap is the one that I always see. I mean, I think they're the recognized experts in this field and doing this work. I can tell you that on another recent project, a large project using these special districts, an RFP was done, sent out to whoever does this kind of work, and Unicap was hired. I don't think there's anyone out there that does a better job than they do.
Well, we haven't had that opportunity to look.
You could try to RFP it if you wanted to. I personally think that would be a mistake because they are so familiar with the history of this project.
Maybe we need a new set of eyes.
Well, they're also so familiar with West Virginia and the lay of the land in West Virginia, because I don't think another firm has prepared a set of projections in West Virginia. So they are so familiar with the marketplace.
Who's responsible to pay Unicap?
That would be the county. The county could pay that as an administrative expense of the district. And then typically, as we get closer to finalizing a bond issue or restructure, then we could wrap a lot of their costs into the financing at that point.
That's only if the bonds go through.
Correct.
So if the bonds don't go through, how much money is the county potentially looking to be on to go forward?
I would say, based on other projects that they've done, up to, on average, probably $30,000 to $45,000.
So I guess my next question is, I know what the legislators did last year. How are you going to restructure this stuff?
Do we need to answer all these questions in order to make a decision as to whether to hire professionals to look at the options on
Because
restructuring?
that's what we're here to do today,
That, I mean,
is
we're
to go
not,
out and get the information
we're
and then
not
come
here-
back with it.
you're not being asked to make a final decision on any
I'm being
restructuring.
asked to do something that I have no idea why I'm being asked to do it. You want me to sign, you want this commission to agree to sign consulting agreements, and nobody's explained to this commission other than somebody wants to refinance the bonds. And nobody sat down and talked to this commission and explained why, how, and what the purpose is. So when do I find out? Why do I want to hire somebody? I just go off the street and say, here's a consulting job. I don't care. I would like the information on how well this is going to be attended. You guys had the opportunity to come talk to us months ahead of time, instead of showing up today with agreements. But we've never had a chance to sit and discuss among ourselves, discuss with our in-house counsel. And
Well,
why we're here.
this is the opportunity to do that.
Okay.
What's
I
the
just
difference
asked the
between
question.
now and doing it 3-4 months ago?
I just asked the question, Tommy, and now you said you don't want to answer that question. I asked how we were going to get to where we want to go.
You want to have a discussion around whether to hire these consultants, and
I don't know why we're hiring.
I'm telling you that you're hiring them in order to present you options to consider as to the restructuring of these bonds. I'm not here to present those options today.
Because we don't know the option.
Oh, I think we know the options, Susan. We're just not being told the options. I mean, I think if we look into the last bill that we received from Steptoe and Johnson, they spent lots of money in Charleston representing Charles Point and lobbying for them to change how TIFs were done.
No, we weren't representing Charles Point. We were representing the commission.
You're representing the commission,
Yes,
lobbying for the commission.
we weren't lobbying anything. We were
What the
answering,
bill says,
questions relating to,
just telling you, there's something wrong here. People haven't been upfront about how money's being spent and why we're sitting here today. You two, I know are gonna go ahead and pass it.
what else would you like to?
I'd like to know why you spent all that money lobbying for us in Charleston. When we didn't authorize it, who paid for that lobbying in Charleston and all that research?
The, as an administrative expense of the district, work we've been ongoing for years with administration of that district.
You go down and lobby for what?
To look at potentially amending the Property TIF Act to allow an extension of the term of the TIF
All the
district.
TIFs that the county has, or was that just for one? Because only one name ever pops up in the bill.
Not all the county TIFs,
I
because
can get the bills and we can go over it if you want.
I.
that's not
Is
what
there
we're
a
here
question you
for
want me to
today.
answer?
I'm trying to understand why we're sitting here today, Susan.
Well, we're not sitting here
Well,
today.
So
to
we,
talk about
it was
this.
an effort to change the TIF laws to allow districts that to be extended. And it was districts,
And that was
the
something
original
that you
proposal,
felt that was beneficial to us?
the original proposal was that it would extend due to financial crisis in 2008-9 and COVID, bond districts that were in existence and had bonds outstanding as of December of 2019. That those districts and those situations that had bonds outstanding would have an opportunity to extend those districts. That was what was presented as an option. I was asked questions about it. I was asked to look at language, and I assumed that that would be beneficial to the county.
So did any other counties pay for this work? To help other counties extend their TIF, or was it just us that paid?
I can't recall. There may have been another client, but I can't say that right offhand.
Trey, you read any of these? Do you have any comments or discussions that you think that you need to have with this commission before we sign this up?
So my main concern is information. I want you all to get the information. You all need to make a final decision, because as a public entity, when it comes down to consent, that is where your leverage sits within the relationship between the county and a developer. And Tommy and I have talked about that a number of times. As I sit here today, these are informational type requests related to looking at proposals as I see it, and as Mr. Amon explained. So it's not a final end all be all today, because I believe there are other stakeholders potentially as part of this process who are going to have to look at the issues as well. That being said, if you all want to hire different consultants, you certainly have that ability. The question I keep thinking is timing. What is the timing of this? Is it necessary that it be decided today? Is there time to further discuss some of these issues? Is it a fiscal year approach? Are we trying to close by the end of this calendar year? Or do we have time to look at some of the issues?
True, but, much like I communicate with PSDs, my other two commissioners can communicate with Steptoe and Johnson about this.
No, not according to Mr. Amon.
Yeah, but because all the commissioners wanted different information, have side discussions with this and ask for different documents. I sent the request to David, well, maybe to Laura, that because of that, and because of obviously the divide that the commission seems to have over this, that anything relating to Charles Point go through the county administrator.
The county administrator can deliver that to the three of us.
Yes,
And we can meet with her, and if we have any questions, she can ask you for us.
yes.
Okay,
I mean, I think that makes sense if the three of you are willing to continue to operate on that basis.
but if I called you, I mean, you're saying I can't, you wouldn't answer a question?
I would propose that would be a better operating rule for the commission for this project to operate as I've suggested.
You are, okay.
Yes,
But if I have any questions, I can call Laura and you'll get her the answer.
yes.
Okay.
Now we go back to his question about the time.
Well, in timing and just maybe talk about procedure, how this would work after the consulting agreements are executed, the process, the developer coming back in here, making the final request for approval and consent for the reissuance refinance, because that's not what we're here to decide today. I want the commission to have all the information they should. We agree 100% on that. Maybe just talk about what that would look like.
So let's go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Pat.
Let's let Tommy answer Trey's question first.
Well, I would like to hear what David wants to ask first.
Okay.
I would like to know if this is gonna happen. Why are we going to have the input on how we want this handled? Because I think you owe that to us, whether or not you want to, if you think the only way you're gonna do it is 30 years, 5 years.
I agree.
I think we have to agree on if any more money is gonna be borrowed or just a refinance.
Yeah,
I don't wanna pay for this pie in the sky, everybody running around and get 50 million ways. I think we all know where we stand today, at least some of us do. And signing these documents today doesn't take care of that. I wish that there would have been, we sat down and discussed these documents and actually what the game plan is. And I don't, by signing these documents, I don't know what the game plan is for these things. And I think we could have known that before this point.
I would say that the conversation that we wanted to have with you all, when you go back to the 2 or 3 months, the 3 to 4 months, whatever it's been, we could have had that conversation at that point in time. But there have been other developments and opportunities that have presented themselves that really changed the picture of the whole situation. And so in order to allow more time for those opportunities to play out and see how real or not real they are, and whether they present real options for the commission, the development team and myself, along with the people that we're talking to on the bond side, felt like it was better to let those other opportunities play out more, see how real they are, because they change the dynamic as far as how the restructuring options would work and what they would look like. So discussions that we would have had with you 3 months ago are not at all the same discussion that we could have today, which is why we're coming today, I'm coming today to ask you to hire these consultants to look at the opportunity that's in front of us today. That's how it's played out.
$80 million, I mean, I understand things change, but you're asking the three of us to approve 80, and I don't know if you're asking for more.
I'm not asking you to do that.
But I'm just saying, $80 million is a lot for us to recommit, especially after some of it's been already out for 14 years.
I agree.
So I'm just, I'll make a motion here today, and whether these two will agree to it or not, but I'll just start out with the Unicap one. We're not gonna be responsible for Unicap's expenses. That's gonna be the developer. I don't care if it comes or goes, we're not riding that horse.
What if it could be paid
I
from the
don't
TIF
care how it's
revenues?
paid out of the TIF revenues, but we're not gonna write a check to community cap out of commission.
Out of commission funds?
I don't think that's fair for us. We've already been down that road once, twice. I don't think we should do it the third time. I don't know how you two feel about that, but I don't know why we want to spend our money a third time. Community have to do something they've done twice. So my motion is to approve the agreement with Community Cap with the caveat that the developer pays either out of the bond funds or out of their own money.
And not the TIF revenues?
We tip revenues as long as that's not the county's coffers.
Okay. I mean, that's not much different than
What we're
what
doing now,
you would
what we've
be, what
been
you would
doing,
do in
right?
practice anyways.
That's what I thought, because most of it comes out of the TIF revenue. correct?
Yes.
But there's no guarantee this is going to fly. So that's my motion for community cap.
What about the rest of it?
Each one's gonna have their own motion. Susie.
Can you all live with that?
Yeah. I'm not. The commissioner one?
Uh-huh.
No,
We could pay.
absolutely not. Guy is coming after me personally. I have a problem with it. I've been sitting back here listening to his words. I'm gonna say something.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner, am I out of line?
Yep.
Okay, tell me what
Or you are, but you are, Jamie.
I'm sorry. All right.
Okay.
Let me know when I can speak, because I like to say something.
I think the proposal is reasonable. And it can work. The motion is up for consideration.
And again, I'm gonna go back, does this have to be done today?
We need to, as Commissioner Henkel has stated, I don't want to say delay, but we can't take much more time without really finalizing this and advancing it. And we need these, the county needs these professionals hired if we're going to move toward a solution
Tom, have
sooner rather than later.
we ever done such a thing with the other TIFs, like the airport or whatever?
They've never come back 3 times and fight it to have.
We also pour money into the airport from the county commission standpoint.
We don't, you
we
told
don't do
Lions
that.
Club that that was the beacon of the air of the county, and it was the greatest thing that happened. So money into the airport's a great thing.
Madam President, we also pour money into the airport, the taxpayers' money. We don't pour money into Charleston. Do we, Tom?
The one distinction I would make is just that the airport has not issued bond, the county has not issued bonds for the airport, but the county has put a TIF district in place and put incentive programs in place for certain developments at the airport, utilizing the TIF, and has
Like if we-
hired people and expended funds to
like
do
at-
that.
Like at White Oaks or Charles Point. Would you say there's been 100 jobs created,
More than 100 jobs.
500 jobs between the two?
I think White Oaks said that there's more than 1,500 people.
Okay.
that
But
work
we
out.
do use taxpayers' money to create other jobs and other developments.
Yes, true.
Kathy, this,
Call the question.
no, sir, I'd like to finish what I was trying to get it more to where I think that hopefully that it's easier to understand. If the tip will pay the payment to Unicap, and if the bond will pay Unicap, they get paid. But if the bonding doesn't go through, and we're left holding the bag for $50,000 because the bonding company didn't feel that this was a good deal, why should we eat the 50 when we've already paid twice to have it bonded? I mean, in headphones, so that's my question. So
Any further,
the other tips all pay because they were all free.
okay, the motion's been made for the, make sure I say this right. The expenses for Unicap to be paid from the tip funds, correct?
And to approve the engagement.
And to improve the engagement with Unicap.
And if it doesn't pay Unicap, it all pays.
And if the tip doesn't pay Unicap, then the developer does. Anything further?
And then
Further
President,
discussion?
and Madam President, I'll make the motion that we engage in A, agreement with consulting service, B, type engagement letter, and C, Steptoe and Johnson engagement letter with no stipulations.
Okay. Motion has been made to approve number 9, A, B, and C. Any further discussion? Since when? Always before, it was when you made the second one, it was you.
Okay, well, I want to discuss this motion on the others because I want to discuss A, B, and C. So we'll just stack the motions up. B is for stifle. Motion to approve as is. Steptoe Johnson. And to approve as is with one caveat that no money to be spent for lobbying.
Okay, motion's been made on B and C as stated by Commissioner Henkel. All in favor, say, any further discussion?
C has no lobbying.
As stated by Commissioner Henkel, with no lobbying. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, no. Okay. Patsy's motion was to approve number 9, or Commissioner Treecost, sorry. Number 9, A through C. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, please note the oppositions. Motion
I
carries.
still have a motion for me for A.
Okay, motion was made by Commissioner Hinkle for A, as previously stated, to be paid out of the tip funds from Unicap. All in
And the
favor?
developer, if
And the developer, if
Bonds
that
don't
doesn't,
sell.
if the bonds don't sell. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you. That's all right. It's okay. I. Thank you, Tom.
Another recommendation, given your own discussion today, I think in the near future, it'd be wise to schedule a work session pursuant to the attorney-client privilege and talk about the potential proposals that Mr. Hank in detail that might be done. I think that would make some sense. Good question to raise, and it would be good for you all to start to be proactive in the process.
Clark, could you please help with that? Thank you.
Okay, we had a 10:15. Mandy Curry and Audra Odell.
Audra has some information to share. She just left for the rest of you really quickly. It's nice to see you all. I'm here with good news. It feels like, so this is a different conversation. About 4 years ago, I began working with Community Action on food security here in the county. We spent about a year or so assessing the kind of status of where food was in the county, and a few things began to come out at us. At that time, it wasn't so much that we didn't have enough food in the county, it's just that it wasn't really being coordinated very well. So you may have some food pantries who had excess, some who didn't. Bi-County Nutrition, for example, may not have the access or ability to get food from farmers markets or farmers. So it's very disjointed. And that trend has continued for a couple of years. So we've had that going on, and we're pretty tuned into what's going on with food in the county. About 2 years ago, I started working on a statewide project that's the Abandonment Foundation funded this initial project for central kitchens. These were central kitchens that would begin to prepare chef-led healthy foods for children, starting to get at that youngest age. That's been a 2-year process of really beginning to build a business model around how can we begin to prepare from scratch foods, bringing in all of our local providers and keep this price point where we need it. So that was I've been in this is a 3-year project. I'm 2 years into that. We are getting ready to start and launch our first central kitchen. That one is going to be in Morgantown, and we're going to be launching that in the next month and testing all of this that we've been planning. So we're bringing all of that data then here to Harrison County, and we have been working for the last, well, it's been 4 years, but very differently for the last couple of months to begin to really look at the model and the food system here in our county. And so what we have begun to create is this model that we believe is a new food system where we can start to use this model as a central kitchen, which the idea of a central kitchen is we have, a large preparation facility. If we have another pandemic, for example, is there a large enough facility that could create and serve the region on a much larger scale and not have to sacrifice quality of food? Can we prepare good quality food? Can we also serve senior centers if there's a need or a backup need? Can we do backpack programs and help and support the schools in that way? So we are beginning a small group to already start to plan ahead and prepare for that in the form of this central kitchen. It's almost a hub and spoke model. So central kitchen is the hub, and then you have all of these different spokes around it that we begin to work on. We are starting this, again, it starts as early next month. We are beginning to plan that out. Audra is also, she just stepped away, but she is with the Food and Farm Coalition. Also, Community Action she is also working with Community Action as our food coordinator. She has just assumed that role, and she's already been doing that. So she's been working with kitchens across the county already, Kelly Miller Building, for example, working to get that kitchen up and ready so that could actually become a small pilot for us to begin to get some of this in action. We have a visual for you that Audra will share to show you how that works. So we have for the next 3 years, this is our focus in the county. We're not asking for anything. We're just simply want to keep you aware of what we're doing. This is it's feeling like it's very fast moving. 2022 is when we are beginning to put the infrastructure in place for all of this. We believe that this central kitchen will be a standalone on its 130 acres, a standalone central kitchen where you're growing the food for the community on this land. You're cooking with it, you're serving the community, you're bringing those in to teach and to learn. So that's what we envision, and we actually believe that will begin to start to take shape in 2023. 2022 next year is building out all of that infrastructure to prove that everything that we planned is possible. It's very tricky to prepare these meals. I spent 6 months, for example, building the financial model and the business model around this. Our goal is to be able to prepare from chef-led, from scratch, healthy foods for $1.50 food costs. I mean, that's tricky. It's tricky to work. That doesn't include your labor costs, of course, but that's the food costs. And in a rising environment of food costs, that's tricky. So how can we begin to work with our food partners, our farmers, our growers? Everything is a bit disjointed, kind of regionally. So our goal with this food coordinator is to start to kind of put our arms around all of it and start to work together and get everything kind of working in this nice kind of smooth model. And so again, that is our plan for the next, for the next 2 years. And we are grateful. Audra has a great relationship with the Kelly Miller folks, and and beginning to kind of build out even that kitchen in a small scale that can help us kind of build this proof of concept before we move on to even, on a larger scale. So that is the food system that we are envisioning. There are many partners of this, and that continues to grow. Community Action, United Way, Food and Farm Coalition,
Healthy Harrison.
excuse me,
Healthy
Healthy Harrison, yes, for sure. John Paul and I have had many conversations about this, and they are certainly, so excited about it too. That's the beauty of this. We don't really see this as necessarily one person owns it. It's such a collaborative effort because we all share in this common vision of wanting to, again, just create a food system that is sustainable on its own and is not subject to global supply chain issues that we're seeing right now. I mean, many of the food providers, Gordon Foods, for example, would tell you right now is the craziest time they've ever seen for food and getting food to where it needs to be and shortages. But there is one shortage that they're not seeing right now. They're not seeing shortages around from scratch ingredients. So that's exciting. Prepackaged ingredients, there's a huge shortage in those, not from scratch. So we really feel like we've tapped into a great model. We are working with chefs at Pierpont. They've been a great partner of ours. We have 6 chefs on our project. 3 are still in school. 3 are in the teaching side of this who are part of it. And it's just so fun. They just bring a whole new element and expertise to cooking that we haven't seen. We envision that this will transform institutional food. So you think senior centers, you think schools, prisons, whatever that might look like. We think institutional food will begin to go even to that next level as we begin to put all of this in place.
Listen, it's exciting.
Thank you.
I don't mind saying the negative to this, that, we're an obese state.
Yeah,
You're doing everything to start early learning,
for sure.
and it starts early, and it's so
Yeah.
exciting. And
Thank you.
I just can't thank you enough for,
No.
it doesn't matter what you have if you don't have help.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. We believe that it's not even so much, meeting these basic needs is so important, but we want to take it to the next level. Let's focus on the quality. When we were working with the food pantries 4 years ago, the backpack program, we're sending out 1,500 backpacks in the children's, to go home on the weekends. It is a wonderful effort, and there's so much volunteer work. But in many cases, the average that's spent on those is $1 per child for their weekend of meals. And that just doesn't get you quite the quality that we feel like that these children and families, it's time we're going to take you to the next level now. We're meeting the needs. Let's go to the next level.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Appreciate it.
All right. Yes.
Good
We'll
luck.
keep you posted
Yes,
for
that'd be great.
sure. Yes. All right. Thank you all.
$10:30, public nuisance, Robin and Randy Bise Jr.
Back on.
Charlotte, do you have anything? Is this? Is that Robin? You Robin? Robin? Are you Robin? No. Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
Charlotte?
This is the first one, whenever we first seen it, it's gotten a lot worse. The woman that owns it does not live there, her daughter does. They do not have garbage pickup, another place for everything. I don't understand why they,
You have a picture of the worst.
did I give you that? Yeah, I think I did.
But somebody does live there, Charlotte?
Yeah, somebody does live there.
That ties our hands.
Now, the other day when I talked to her, yeah, no,
Going?
might be another one. Nope, stop. I took this picture last week. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Can you flip it?
I cannot.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, it's gotten a lot worse. I talked to her last week. She said, her boyfriend has hauled out one trailer full. All I can do is just keep checking.
That's all you can do.
And notice was given to, is that
Yes,
what I saw attached there?
yes,
They were served in person,
yes, they were.
but the record reflect that they were served in person and did not appear.
And Madam President, all we can do is keep Charlotte, keep them on with somebody living in the house. Thank you.
Keep after them, I guess is what.
All you can do.
Yeah, I just keep calling, saying, you know, asking when you gonna get done.
You okay with that?
How long have they been trying to clean it up?
Since May of last year. We've been after them.
30 days, and if they don't turn anymore, then what they're done.
Motion to give them 30 days to clean it up, and if not, then move forward to circuit court. Is that
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. 10:45, alley abandonment.
Madam President, I think this was supposed to have been done 2 years ago.
It has been a while. Commissioner Hinkle might be able to speak on it a little more. So that was how it was in the mental.
I don't need to speak on it. I know all about it. Everybody does. Motion approved.
Do we have any information on it?
We've had it before.
Between property that we have, so
And we know that everybody's been notified, we own all around it.
Yeah.
You have anything, Charlotte?
they know.
I just want to make sure we get that out on the record.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, I want to make sure it's out there. Sorry, just trying to do my job.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Okay, then I guess since you guys know all about it, somebody want to make a motion?
Motion move forward. Approved.
Motion to move forward and approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. I guess you both said aye. Would you do it
Aye.
again, please? Okay. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay. Number 10, I think. Review, discuss, consider monthly minutes, financial information from various boards. We have A and B, Eastview and Enlarged. What's the
Motion
pleasure?
approved, A and B.
I'd like to discuss them.
Okay, motion's been made to approve. Now we'll do discussion.
Minutes from Eastern Public Service. They tell us what this means, but they don't tell us what they have. So I consider them incomplete.
We never do see financial information. I think that's problematic.
We see it from a couple ESD, but not these people.
Right. To me, it's problematic.
I don't know what we're approving here when we approve this as the minutes of the meeting. Then I'll take it down to 10B, the alleged enlarged Hexaball one. I'm not even sure all we got was an agenda. So I mean, I guess we can approve that they sent us an agenda, but there isn't anything that they're supplying us. I don't think we should accept this stuff from these few.
There's not really any action to be taken on these. They're just supplying us with information. Am I correct?
We can use it for, approve it for informational purposes.
That's
but
the
not
only-
as-
No,
not as
we're
what
we're
they
not
say
approving
it is.
anything on, I mean, even if they did send us.
Let's approve the information.
Motion to be, motion to approve number 10 as information. Any further discussion?
I would like for the commissioners and us kind of on this subject, I think we need to press a letter and alter it, sign and send to all our PSDs. And going forward, if they're not going to supply the information correctly, then we're not going to supply any financial help. I think that's only fair that we know how they stand financially before we give them money. That's all I have on that subject.
Okay. All in favor of the motion to accept as informational, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Review, discuss, consider resolution authorizing the application for funds from West Virginia Justice and Community Services. Is that you, Gina?
Yes, good morning, commissioners. This is an application that if on your approval, I will submit. It's a comprehensive opioid stimulant and substance abuse program through the state. And the grant would be to hire a much needed another peer recovery coach for the community corrections. They need to be able to extend their services. This grant is in the amount of $90,000. It would start in the period of December 1, 21 and run through September 30th of 2023. And there is no match on this grant.
Thank you. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve and authorize signature. Is that
Please.
okay
I see it.
for the resolution? Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 12, review, discuss, consider selling 2012 Ford Taurus. And it lists the VIN number and the mileage for scrap metal.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve selling of the Taurus, and it belongs to us, and we know that.
It is, it's one of our cruisers that has been picked apart piece by piece after it was wrecked, so it's time to get it out of here.
So are we taking it to the scrap yard or are we going to put it out to somebody to buy?
We'll get bids from different scrap yards.
Okay, all in favor of approving this, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. We have 11 o'clock hearing on delinquent or unprogressed estates. Is that what you're here for? Okay. And I assume nobody else appeared, and we had a long laundry list of people. Do we have a list of those?
You can check the whole way.
Okay.
Anybody here for delinquent estate?
Yep.
What's your name, ma'am? You can pull down your mask. I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Randy
I'm Miss Kirkland.
Of who?
Randy has
What time?
11.
The last name was, what was the last name?
The state of Randy S. Lockwood.
Lockwood.
Sorry, Lockwood.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Do you have the information? Does she have the notice that she received?
Yes.
Can I have that?
Thank you.
For the estates. That's who it is.
My dad's is delinquent. It was just a closure of this.
I want to make sure. Talk about that. That's what I thought. Did you contact the clerk's office prior to today? Did you tell them, what did you tell them?
Back, within the 30-day period, I had hoped to close it by the end of October. I was a little optimistic with that. The property was rented, so I didn't get into later to get all of the things that I needed to. It will be in the next couple of months.
Do you want to do it yourself, or would you like the commission to close it administratively?
It would be hard with all of the different properties and everything. I'd like to close it myself.
Because it is not on the list for today. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the deal is. We'll have the clerk look into it. And if that,
Okay.
Do you have a can be reached telephone number so he can get a hold of you?
703
703
732
732.
6494.
We'll get a hold of you, and that way you don't have to go in at any more time, your time.
Oh, okay. What was am I right?
You're perfect.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
The confusion, I'm sorry.
that's all right.
I'll just be a couple more months.
Please keep this for your records, and we'll get a hold of you, and we'll straighten everything out. All right.
And if you need any further
We appreciate you coming
information,
in.
just call me and I'll give you more details.
We'll take care of everything.
There's a few outstanding financial things. I think.
There always is.
Yeah.
thank you.
Have a
Good
nice
luck.
morning.
Take care.
Bye. Thanks.
Okay. Your name?
Mandy Smith,
What's the estate?
Harold Smith.
See that one on the list too.
You have any papers?
I forgot my home.
That's okay.
My sister is supposed to be here with her paperwork, but I don't think she come before.
Okay, let me ask you the same question I asked her. Are you wanting to close it yourself?
Well,
Actually,
it's
no-
in airship, so, and it's my grandma's property, but my dad inherited it. So my brother's taken over the property, and he won't let anybody up there, but I don't know if anything's done with the property. I didn't know if there was outstanding taxes or anything like that. If they are,
I can't tell you that. I
okay,
can't tell you that. But you are also not on the list to have a hearing today.
okay,
So I don't know if you want to check with the clerk's office to find out the status.
yeah,
Would you like to give us a number and we'll get a hold of you?
yes.
Okay.
She probably from Glenn,
No, it's Harold Edward.
the Glen age, so I'll just check.
Go ahead with your phone number.
It's 304
304
677
677
9516.
9516.
Yeah.
We'll get a hold of you,
Okay,
and we're sorry.
Wait a minute.
He
Here's
is on the-
Harold Edward,
he
excuse
is on
me.
the
These are,
list.
yeah, these are out of order.
Page 45.
Okay.
Okay.
okay, I was saying, I
These are not
double
in order.
check
I
that
just started
paper.
looking through that after you. Okay. Question is, she was, okay. Okay. Well, I guess I will call the hearing on unprogressed estates to order. And you are here on behalf of the estate of Harold Edward Smith.
Yes,
I guess, again, the question is, do you want us to, I mean, we probably need to know if everybody was served. Okay. Everybody's had the opportunity to be here. You are here. Would you like for the commission to administratively close it, or do you want to close it yourself?
I'd rather have you guys go ahead and close it. So I know it's done properly, and I don't know what I'm doing, so.
Okay, I'll entertain.
Any other, who are the other beneficiaries related to the estate, do you know?
Your
brother?
My brother, my sister, and my younger brother, that was the four of us. And then I don't know how it works with his sisters because they've passed away. So I don't know how they left theirs, but
Do you have a will?
no.
And have you been working on it?
My brother won't let me out there on the property.
Who was
You-
the executive?
I got a paper, well, about 2 weeks after my dad had passed from the commission's office stating that I was the heirship of my dad's stuff, but then when I went up there, my brother had already put the taxes in put the property in his name because he goes by Harold Smith. So him and my dad share the same name, and my brother, he just got it all transferred. He got the truck and everything, so I don't know exactly what happened.
We don't have that file. Do we have any of the file? Just to make sure that everybody was notified. That's my only concern. Disagree.
We're gonna hold on.
Okay,
So when I make my motion right now, it's gonna be to go ahead and close hearing for delinquent and unprocessed estates, except for Randy Lockwood and for yours.
Okay.
So when we all say yes, you're still open, but we'll get a hold of you.
We just want to make sure that everybody was notified.
You
Okay.
follow me?
yeah,
So you're gonna hear us all say yes, but you're okay.
okay,
All right, motion on the floor.
Okay, motion's been made to close all the estates that are on the list presented to the commission on today's agenda, except for
Lockwood,
Randy Lockwood and Harold, what's his middle name? Edward Smith.
yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. And then we'll get with you, or the clerk will get with you whenever, if we need to do anything.
okay, all right.
Hey, thank
Did
you.
you
I
give
think
them your best number?
Yes, that's my cell phone number.
And then what was your first name?
My name's Mandy, Mandy. And it's Smith.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks.
We'll close that hearing. Move on. Review, discuss, consider change order number 4, RFCO number 23, or I add 2 refrigerated bottle filters to community corrections.
Motion approved.
Okay, the motion's been made to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 14, review, discuss, consider courthouse holiday. Laura?
There has been a revision to the original courthouse holiday list. The primary election day and the general election has been added to this list.
Motion approved as delivered
And with the changes.
and with the changes.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Do we want to take up number 16 before 15, or do we want to go ahead and do 15?
No, go ahead and finish everything.
We'll move to 16. Review, discuss, consider camera options for the GSA building. Who has information?
Let me give you an updated packet. Charlie is here to talk about the different cameras. We have 3 different options of cameras with this. We are at the point of construction in the GSA building that we need to decide on the kind of cameras that we will have in the building. The paperwork that is attached to the agenda had an original quote from Advantage. It was $111,000, but that had a 10-year license agreement on it. So I had Charlie go back to them and see if we could get something with a 5-year license, because that was a huge difference. That was the main price change between the different quotes. And so they were able to come back with a 5-year license agreement, and that one is not attached to the agenda packet, but this is a copy that you all have now. It's $77,000, $77,510.
Now, let me ask you. We'll still have to pay another license in 5 years, or are we gonna be getting new cameras? Will our license be more in 5 years? Should we do the 10-year?
The cameras are warranty for 10 years. The license, about 5 years and come back and do it again. That's how all these work. And that's how they put you on a license. That's for, most of them is usually a year to 2 years. They do the 5-year, 10-year, and push the 10-year. You do it one time, you don't have to worry about it for the life of the camera. The clock camera system, Pat's so a demo on it. I don't think you have. He saw one or not. What they are is you can put a camera basically anywhere with it and run. And it connects back into the cloud system to where you're working. You don't have a server like right now. The system that's in the courthouse right now, we got a server upstairs. It's 8 years old. We're at the max on it and it's at its life. This system, you don't have a server. You got recorders built into the cameras, and then you can hold so much off-site. You don't want to use it off-site, you don't have to, you can leave and just use what's in the camera. It's basically got a hard drive built into every camera. That's why their cameras are a little bit more money. So I don't have to worry about a server going down or something like that. If we lose a camera, we just lose that. We don't lose all the cameras. It's a pretty good system, and you can share. Like, I'm constantly have to pull video footage for our outside cameras for Clarksburg TV. We just give them access to them. They can pull their own footage. It's really a nice system. And what's going on, the way it's been going is City of Morgantown, City of Fairmont's looking at these. Whitehall bought them. Clarksburg bought them, Bridgeport bought them. We can share the cameras and all that. The function of them is they have built into it a function of more advanced stuff like facial recognition and stuff where they, other than the Indigo like we have right now, that's an option. You gotta buy it. You gotta buy all the options that are Indigo that's built into the product. The way above what the price is of the product. I've never seen a system like it. It's a pretty good system.
It's amazing.
I was at Whitehall on Monday and the Ricotta rep was there. I was blown away. Because you can, for example, you can type in man in red shirt on a given day and it'll actually, the software will search and it'll create all the snippets of everybody in a red shirt that walked into the courthouse on today. Where you can specify by hair, car type, vehicle. It was pretty fascinating to watch.
The first demo we had, they got license plate readers too. You can take and put them out in the community, the license plate reader cameras. They had one on Woods Boat House. We knew Johnny went by it in a white SUV during this time frame. We found the SUV, found Johnny. Then I got the license plate number of it.
Charlie, I love it. I make the motion, we go with it. I do.
I think you'd be better off.
I do
If you
too.
can
I think
afford
it
to
saves
do
us
the
money.
10-year license.
Mhm.
I think you're better off doing the 10-year, but it's a big chunk of money there.
That's my point. I mean, will the license be more expensive in 5 years?
Heck, yeah.
Well, I want to get all my information.
Hey, trust me.
Thank you very
They're gonna
much.
sing us.
The more years you buy, the cheaper it is.
It's like my Siri. It's gonna be more expensive.
I think you'd be ahead 5 or 10 years. Because like the cameras, everything, they don't advance the company. What we have right now used to be the state of the art, but it hasn't moved on. Like they have, but you gotta buy all these
And
apps.
we know this is going to move on.
10 years, you don't know. When you're done, you can look at a new system that's on. 10 years for a system is a long time.
And the system be moved from the cloud to a
It's stored hard inside too.
what we're paying for cloud usage on that $1,000 license, right?
Some of, it's both. Some of it is the cloud usage. Some of it is your local usage, your hard drives and maintenance and all that on all that. So that license covers both of those.
And the other quotes are just hard drives. What we're using now.
What we're using now is a big server sitting upstairs. It's running at 97%. As we can't add no more cameras to it. It was about 130, 140 cameras was what it should have been running at. We now push almost 200. So we're overloaded it and it's going to need replacement
this is
later on
just
down the
for the
road.
new
Here we
one,
can just
right?
replace camera by camera as we need it.
But you're still going to take care of that for this building eventually.
Yeah, if one of these cameras die, we put one of the new ones in. And it goes into this system.
Okay.
And we don't have to worry about
But this is just for the new building.
it. Yes. We got it in the sheriff's office now. I put the first one in down there. It was slick as could be. And they have it. Anywhere you want to put a camera, basically Clarksburg put them on telephone poles.
They're supposed to be vandal proof. The cameras are, there's some kind of high density material. What law enforcement's doing is they're all gonna get together and say they have an Amber Alert. All these cameras will be connected, and they'll hit the license plate, and they'll go phone. That's what the plan is. It's gonna take some agreements.
See, when Tom, what they're shooting for is Carlton and Mon County coming all the way through have a blanket of these. The cameras for the license plate reading and all that, the license plate reading camera is only about $3,000. And you put them alongside roads and they're doing like a co-op with businesses and stuff like that. Go to a business and say, we'll put this on your building, use your internet, your power, and we'll get the license plates going by, like I said, Woods Boat House. The business gets a camera. And they get a security camera. The police gets the access to the cars going back and forth. You got a high problem area, you can put one there, you know everybody came and went in there.
Earliest, we have control of the access once they go in the building.
Yeah.
So that we can say that no camera is available to any
Yeah.
entity inside the building on the outside.
Yeah, it's all,
I don't like the thought that our buildings are open for anybody to go in and see who's coming and going from the court.
you got groups, you can control what you see. You can even say, this person can only see footage that was from this time period. So you can just see, review footage and stuff like that. You can, it's unreal what all you can do.
Motion approved.
I do have a question. There's two different quotes for this camera. There's the one with the 10-year license and the one with the 5.
I think the 10-year license is the way to go. But I don't care. That's up to you guys.
And my point is we'll be paying more later on.
Yeah.
That's my.
In the end of 5 years, yeah, 5-year license is more money than a 10-year license.
You can pay me now or you can pay
We
me
can
later.
go break it down.
Any more later. Okay, motion has been made to move forward with the
As
10-year
stated by Charlie.
with the 10-year plan,
Mhm,
with the 10-year plan, the cameras
mhm,
for the new building.
mhm.
Any
Well,
further?
Does this have to be ordered ASAP to hold the price early? Or is this something that we're gonna have to pull out of our cash or? can we pull it
Say
out?
that again?
How good's this bid for? Is this something we're gonna have to write a check next week for, or?
I don't know. I don't know, you'll take more for money. A lot of money, so it'll probably be,
I think they'll work with us, right?
They've been good to work with. I mean, they even, I think they got a payment plan if you want to do a payment. But I don't know.
And that's on some of the stuff you gave us, said that it was prices were good for 30 days, that's why I'm asking.
I have a lot of computer equipment just that.
So they're close. It's shy of being 30 days old, that's why I asked.
I can get you some quote. I don't think they're going, I think they'll continue to honor that quote. I can find out here in a few minutes.
That's my only question to
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. You have a report, Laura?
I do. Repairs are being made to the Shinson Tower. Currently, US Cellular is paying for those repairs, and they've begun on that. The North Trail by Northview will be seeing some work done to it again, hopefully soon. This section was what we originally had a grant for to repair. Lost Creek Trail should also be seeing some work done to it starting this week. The fiber will have, there'll be fiber work. Then the repairing of the trail that's been tore up since they were trying to lay those fiber lines. We are still taking applications for 911 dispatchers until Monday, the 15th. And a reminder, we have 3 vacancies. You can find the application and the job description on our website under the job tab. Tomorrow we have the Veterans Day parades under Shinson and Clarksburg. We'll be having one. If I miss anyone else, I apologize, but make sure that you get out and support the community and support our veterans and thank them for what they've done. And I'll add this again, that we need to start planning and talking about plans for the courthouse when we move to the annex. If there's plans, I'm not aware, but we're talking about cameras moving over there and everything else, and it's going to be here before we know it.
Oh, there's got to be a plan somewhere. We didn't spend $30 million. without a plan. There's got to.
We'll just have to have a work session. Do you know of any plans, David? Just the other one in this building?
I mean, to tear down the annex, there's not
It
a
was
plan.
getting what? Okay. We'll have to discuss that. So I think that's going to call for a work session.
You don't know of anything?
Now, I asked the question several times prior to.
Let's be part of that. Let's be part of that also. So this next meeting can work for it.
Charlie, do you know of any plan to tear down the annex before we build the new building?
We have a lot of people, if they're moving, that's something that's what you have to decide. Can they fit here? What are you gonna have to do with this building?
That's all I have.
Commissioner comments? Mr. Treecroft?
No, ma'am.
I have nothing. Mr. Hinkle? And we will bounce back to number 15, review, discuss, consider potential settlement agreement with former county administrator, potential executive session pursuant to West Virginia State Code 6-9A -4B2A and or 69A 4B12. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss this. That's your-
Motion to go into executive session as read by the county president.
Motion's been made to go into executive session as stated under the code sections by myself. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? Hearing none, we will be back into regular session. Okay, what is the pleasure on number 15?
Motion to approve and exclude exhibit A.
Motion has been made to approve the settlement agreement with the exception of Exhibit A. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion carried. Okay, what was your
Motion.
motion to adjourn? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.